Hello guys, welcome to my brand new channel for the first ever video on In the Doll Room, and I am so excited. My name is Candy. I am a 53, nearly 54-year-old doll lover and doll collector, and I decided to start this channel to create a doll room which I'm sitting in at the minute, and to bring some joy and passion and healing through dolls to you guys. I so hope you will come with me on this journey because I think it's a magical one. So my dolls, some of which you can see behind me, were forgotten for over 2 decades. They'd been bagged up in dusty corners of my loft, hidden away to protect them, as well as to give me space to heal after various traumas. I only recently discovered them. I'd totally forgotten a huge part of myself, and in discovering them I found a part of myself that holds joy. So for me, this doll room and sharing with you some unboxings is not just me unboxing dolls, it's a way to unbox myself, to make my joy important and to make space for joy. And in making space for joy, some things came up for me, and I want to share that in this first video as I share the transformation of this spare room. It's a tiny spare bedroom. I want to share the transformation into a doll room and share some of my thoughts as I do it. Just to say how excited I am that I get to share this passion with some new friends and hopefully some old friends too. The first one is contend with the voices in your head. When you're making space for your own joy, especially if you have any history of being told that you're not allowed to do things, of controlling relationships, anything like that in your past, the voices in your head may, if you're like me, tell you that you are selfish, especially if you are giving yourself an entire room dedicated to a joy such as doll collecting. You're selfish. You need to contend with those voices and have your own answers in your own voice. So do I think I'm selfish? The answer is no, and I'll tell you why I know that's true. All of my 53 years, I listened to other people telling me I couldn't, and it didn't work out. I listened to the voices of partners, one who relegated my dolls to a garden shed in boxes, another partner who relegated my dolls to a dusty attic and allowed no space in the house. You're not being selfless allowing things like that to happen. You are being controlled, and it never works out well for you. For me, resentment grows when you allow manipulating and controlling people to write your story for you. Now, do I mean that you take over the entire house so nobody else has any room? Of course I don't mean that, but to allow yourself the spare space, the space that's going free, or an equal share of space is allowed. If you have voices in your head telling you you aren't allowed equal space, or you're not allowed to use your own space or spare space, then I would stop and check just whose voice that is that's telling you that. It certainly doesn't sound like a voice of love. Point number 2 for me that came up was to prioritise myself. In this room with this glass mirrored wardrobe that I'm pointing out here, there is spare space, and I can prioritise me in here if I want to. That's not selfish. I was told once that I was at the bottom of everybody's priority list. That was by a partner, and no wonder stuff has ended up in here, in this attic. Here I'm standing here with a wrench moaning because the attic door got jammed shut. So I wanted to go up and find some bookcases that I thought were in the loft for the doll room, and it meant getting a wrench and climbing up step ladders to try and get in. Nothing's ever easy, is it? But ta-da, look, you can see the loft hatch is open here, and I'm about to go up and have a search around the loft for bookcases because I'm prioritising myself. If you, like me, are having your precious things relegated to sheds or to dark boxes or to lofts because you're told they're not important, then again, check that, because you are important. You can see my loft is absolutely rammed with stuff, and these are the bookcases I'm trying to get to. And look, there's dolls up here, there's dolls everywhere. Most were bagged and boxed. These are all loose dolls. There is so much to discover, there is so much I want to share. There is so much joy that got packed away and disallowed, and I'm certain there's another bag somewhere up here of collectible Barbies which I still need to find. But for now I want to get to these two bookcases that are up here. While I was up here, I did decide to have a little scoot around for that missing bag of Barbies. I don't think I've imagined. This is the other side of the loft, and in this corner where I keep Christmas and decorations and things like that, oh my gosh, I found yet again another unboxed Ever After High doll. I can't even remember buying her. This and another one were the last two dolls that I bought. Literally the memories have been hidden away because I bought these dolls and then was immediately mocked for it, and they just got thrown up here and obliterated from my memory. So I think this was the last doll I bought a decade ago, and yeah, it's literally a joy to find her. So prioritise yourself. Don't let your joy get relegated to dusty corners and obliterated from your memory. The third thing that came up for me when I was making space for my doll room, making space for my own joy, was a numbers game, telling myself I'm too old. I'm in my 50s, I'm 54 in November. You're too old for dolls, you're too old to start a game with a new passion, you're too old to be childish and playful and joyful. And it's a voice again that isn't true. You're never too old, you're never too young to embrace your uniqueness. What makes you quirky, what makes you you, what brings you joy, especially if it's something that's playful. If the last few years has taught us anything, it's taught us that we need ways to lighten our existence. The world has never felt so heavy and difficult and scary and foreboding at times. At times it's just overwhelming. I think to make time and space and priority for joy and play and quirkiness, it's just so important. So don't let numbers rule you. You're never too old to prioritise joy. Number 4, if we're making space for joy, we have to get rid of the things that don't bring us joy. I'm talking about decluttering, and 2022 saw me in a year of slow living freedom and decluttering my space around me. This room, which is now my doll room, was the worst room in the whole house, and it was the first room I decluttered way back in January. This doll room was originally called the wardrobe room because it's got the big mirrored wardrobe in here, but it also had all of these clothes racks down the other side and cases of clothes. Vintage clothes is something I adore, but my weight goes up and down, and I had clothes for every size imaginable. So most of these clothes I couldn't and still can't fit into. That's a whole nother story. This bookcase, which is still in the room now, was just rammed with boxes of things. I didn't know what was in anything, so I decluttered. I bagged up so much stuff, trip after trip after carful to the charity shop. Eventually the room began to look like this, and at one point it became a shared room with me and my son. My son had a birthday room makeover and a new drum kit in his room, so he had to lose his wardrobe. At that point I was so glad I'd taken bagfuls of stuff to the charity shop, because my son's wardrobe came in here, and the room for most of the year looked like this, mine and my son's clothes in here. But with more decluttering downstairs, my son now has a drumming room downstairs, so this wardrobe is now back in his bedroom, and we're back to the room looking like this. But without that initial decluttering, we were a long way from this and a long way from plans for the doll room. So, to make space for joy, declutter the things that don't bring you joy. You can see in the room now there are these bookcases. This big one here was found in a skip, completely free. I dug it out of a skip. The one on the right, this one here covered in books, was also found on the side of the road. And that brings me to point 5. Don't let having no budget stop you. I am a single mom with 3 kids. My eldest is disabled, so I'm a full-time carer. There is no budget here, so get creative. Yeah, doll thrifting and doll hauls from charity shops is going to be a thing on this channel, as is doing things for free. These bookcases are both gorgeous wooden bookcases. They were both found completely free. They were thrifted. So don't let budget stop you. Look at these paints. These were all collected on Freecycle with people throwing paint out. So this brings me to the next point. Be bold, be brave. I actually didn't realise how scared I was about redecorating, because I haven't done it for such a long time, and for claiming the space. And I knew I couldn't afford paint, so I went down to my little stash of recycled paint that other people had thrown out, and I thought, what colour shall I go with? I looked at all of the lilacs and the pale colours, but I really wanted to be bold and brave and use this colour. And look, it's called Love Story. It just seemed so perfect for the doll room, to claim the space, to claim a new day, to bring the dolls out, to embrace joy. But still I find it hard. Look, I started with the palest of all colours, the lilac. I chickened out and then I hated it and I felt disappointed in myself, and I broke open the Love Story colour. Still not completely sure about it. It's kind of weird coral orangey pink, but the walls were in such disarray, but I just decided to go for it. So the paint makes me think about another category of bringing in joy. If you can turn it into a treasure hunt and upcycle and reuse and thrift, like all of these bookcases, literally all of them, like this one from the skip, that biggest one was from a skip, these were all from Freecycle as well. This bookcase here is one of those from the loft that you just saw. Well, using that treasure hunt mentality, not only is it brilliant for the environment, but it just makes it so much fun. And I've loved thrifting this space. I mean, I've got to, because there is zero budget for this, but I wanted to show you the bookcases in here. So all these books went down to the lounge onto that biggest bookcase. I had to carry that big bookcase down the stairs by myself. It was a game, shall we say, but I just decided that this bookcase with the second one that I'm about to bring down from the loft just looks so much better in here. So it links with budget. Don't let budget stop you, but upcycle, reuse things. Don't be afraid to treasure hunt in thrift shops or skips or on Freecycle. Anything in your area. There are free to collect groups on Facebook as well. You can really get away with doing a lot of things on zero budget. Ask me how I know. And now for the colour reveal. Ta-da! It took me a while to get used to this, guys. I wasn't sure at first. I've not used such bold colours in the house for a long time, but it feels so warm and cosy, and the light on it makes it look like some sort of bizarre coral pink, and I've kind of fallen in love with it. So this is it so far. What do you think? I'm really loving the transformation. So point number 8, if you're trying to bring in joy, what happens if you don't have a whole room? What if you don't have the space? What if it's not budget or numbers, but it's space that's limiting you? Well, for years, for the 10 years that I was really seriously collecting and buying, I had no space. I lived in a 1-bedroom maisonette with my then partner, who wouldn't allow me any space in the house, and he was happy for me to buy dolls as long as they were boxed up and put in the tiny leaking garden shed, which also got broken into twice, leaving my entire doll collection over the garden twice. So I know what it's like to collect dolls with no space. Back then I would have 1 or 2 unboxed dolls that I would take in my bag with me. My bag became my portable doll room. It might be that you have one box under your bed that you can pull out and you've got your dolls in there. It might be that you can have one shelf that you rotate dolls through and the rest is stored under a bed or on top of a wardrobe, and they come out to play on rotation. So portable doll rooms in bags, dolls on rotation. Whatever space you've got, you're still entitled to have some joy within it. If space is limited, it might limit the options, but it shouldn't stop it altogether. So as we get to the final room reveal, after a week of working in here, I think my last 2 points are: remember you are important, but also remember joy is important too. It's so important to make space for your joy. And here we are with the final room reveal. You can see I've brought a chair up here. I've also brought this cabinet up to, I thought I could use this for filming, for unboxing on. This side with all the shelves on, I thought I could make like rotating doll play scenes in there that I could photograph. That would be quite fun and creative in here. There's also a shelf in that bottom part behind glass, and you can see that the room is now that beautiful love story colour, and the 2 bookcases from out of the loft are now screwed against the wall, and you can see the start of my doll collection waiting to be unboxed and shared with all of you guys. At the back of the shelves you can see I've got a shop window display from, I can't remember what shop it was from, but they had it hanging in their window and I asked if I could have it. That's screwed to the back of the shelves, and look at all of those beauties just waiting to come out and play. I just can't wait to share this all with you. They are mostly vintage Barbies from the 90s, so right from the early 90s all the way up to the 2000s. I can't wait to unbox some of these, and some of these dolls have actually unboxed themselves in the loft, and if that isn't a metaphor for all of us claiming our joy, then I don't know what is. It's time to unbox ourselves. So I have a chair up here, I have a cupboard for filming, I have dolls ready to unbox and shelves ready to take them. I am so excited about this room makeover, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it too. I can't wait to go on to this journey into joy. So that's it, guys, that's the doll room up and running. I do hope you'll come with me on this new and exciting journey into the world of dolls and the joy and the healing that that can bring. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.